Hello guys, my name is Sage, Dr. Sage, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to be talking about the Sigma 70-200 f2.8 telephoto lens and if it will be good for cinema work. This is the 70-200 Sigma 2.8 DGOS HSM Canon telephoto lens. One, you have about 4 prime lenses in this: the 85, the 100, 135, and 200 primes in this one zoom. Now, will you use this lens at 2.8 instead of getting the prime lenses for your cinematography? Let us find out. One thing that is not so great about this lens is the tripod mount. The tripod mount is fixed on the lens body, so you cannot remove it. You can only adjust it away or towards whatever thing you need. So if you need it on a tripod, you can connect it this way. Sometimes when I put a rail on my camera, this obstructs it, so I have to turn it all the way back up and tighten it so that I can get that free space under. I'm going to show you what I mean in a second. Now this is my Sony a7 III. I have the mica battery grip on the Sony a7 III, and I have the small rig cage with the Peak Design camera strap. So I have one here and I usually have another one here, but I've removed it for now. This is also from small rig. I'm going to put the item number just by the right here. I use this to mount my rails, my rods on the camera so that it can hold this lens. Of course, I use the Sigma MC11 adapter. I prefer this adapter to the Metabones adapter because I can use Sigma lenses. I can use Tamron lenses, which is the Tamron 2470 I'm using right now to shoot with my second camera. And it has autofocus, OS stabilization, and iris control, aperture control. Everything is in there. So I recommend the Sigma MC11 adapter to be used with the Sony lenses. So put that in there. So this is my Sigma MC11 adapter, and it is converting the FE mount to the EF Canon mount. So right now, if I connect this, see that this lens, a con of it is that it weighs a ton. It weighs a ton, and so I bought this cage. This is the small rig cage to be used with this Sony camera. Now when I connect the rods with the lens support on it, I push this lens support up so that it will counteract the weight that this Sigma lens is giving me. So I push it up that way, I tighten, and now I have one solid piece of camera and lens. Even while taking pictures as a photographer, I use this setup. So now, what are the cons for having this? The minimum focus distance of this lens is not impressive at all. So when I'm standing and I want to take a picture of something this close, this lens is not going to do it. It's going to hunt. It's going to hunt, and sometimes it won't get it unless I move all the way back, and I'm on 70 millimeters. I move all the way back before I can get it. So there's this thing I got. It's for macro photography. So I get this. They're like tubes that extend the it extends the distance between the sensor and the lens, and so that makes focusing nearby objects even more possible. This is the 16mm and this is the 10mm. Combining both of them together will give you the 26mm. Yeah, we'll give you 26mm. So I put this is the Sony FE mount. I put this right there before my Sigma MC11 adapter, and I try to get close-up shots. And if I want something even closer, I use the 16mm tube and put before my Sigma MC11 adapter. If I want something even closer, like macro photography, I combine both of them. By the way, this is also from Mikey or Mikey. So I will connect this to that, right? And then I connect it to both to this. So as you can see, this gets long, pretty long. All right, and I support it with the lens support. So now this combination with the 16mm, the 10mm tubes kind of give me more of a macro shot with my 70 to 200. So at 70 to 200, I can shoot something that is this close. I can shoot something that is this close to my subject, and it's sharp, it's clean, the autofocus is great and amazing. So this is both for photography and videography. Now back to the topic of this video. Is this camera good for cinematography? Yes and no. Yes, because it has optical stabilization. Using a Blackmagic camera and maybe a Viltrox EF M2 mount, converter from Micro Four Thirds to EF mount, you can get optical stabilization in this lens. You also get 70 at 2.8 to 200 at 2.8. You get autofocus, but in cinematography we don't use autofocus. But using my Sony A7 III, I get autofocus, and I will show you videos that I've shot with this combination. And the autofocus in video mode is not that great. It's not as good as the Sony lens with a Sony body, so it's not reliable. In video mode, I like to shoot in manual focus, so I hold this whole kit like this and I'm focusing manually. Let me remove the lens tubes for a second. Give me a second. So in video mode, I would not recommend using the autofocus. I usually shoot it holding it like this and then focusing manually. I don't know if you can see, but I hold it like this and I focus manually like that. So this is how I shoot. I hold like this and sometimes this way. I mount my monitor on this tripod mount hole so that, you know, I can put the camera to my chest and shoot this way. So my monitor is here. I usually use the Ninja V, the Atomos Ninja V. The Atomos Ninja 5 or the Ninja V. I mount it here with any camera mount I find around, and I connect it to the USB, to the HDMI port here. And although it uses a micro HDMI, I go by with it, I manage with it. But using the Atomos Ninja V, I can get better quality than recording into the memory card of the camera. So this video is much about using this lens with a DSLR camera and a cinema camera. I use it with my DSLR camera and it works great, but I have to focus manually. I don't use the autofocus on this because they don't work so well. It works, but not the continuous autofocus is not that great. So I use that. The optical stabilization, I put it on OS1 and it works okay for me. And I'll show you some clips of what I've done so far. Using it with a cinema camera, on the other hand, is much better because you don't rely on stabilization. A cinema camera does not have in-body image stabilization, so it has to rely on the stabilization of the lens. And using it for handheld work, I would say definitely it's a go. The weight is also a plus in the sense that when you're shooting video, you need that weight to give you the right stabilization you need. So with the weight on a cinema camera, I would say that's a go, that's a plus. But in photography, the weight is a big minus. It's a very big minus. Oh yes, another thing is that the focus ring is not smooth at all. In fact, the zoom ring makes a noise. Like, so much friction is in this zoom ring that it does not zoom smoothly. There it is. Oh, that's not good. That is not good. So when I'm shooting a video and I want to zoom in, like I'm trying to do a dolly zoom where I'm moving back and zooming forward, that just happens. I was in a video shoot one time, and I tried to zoom in and I just heard that sound. I was like, oh no, the zoom ring is too tight. The focus ring is not that loose, it's not smooth enough to just focus with one finger. I can't focus with one finger. Look at that. I cannot. I have to use 2 or 3 fingers to move the focus ring. That is good, that is not good. For me, it's more not good than good. So these are my qualms with this lens. The zoom ring is too tight. The focus ring is not that loose. The optical stabilization works, but not all the time. So sometimes when I shoot and I move, it just corrects itself, all of it, just too suddenly. So it's not smooth. The optical stabilization is not that smooth, but I will use it because at 70 it does a great job. Even at 200 it does a great job. The weight is not great, but the weight is okay, but not that great. And I think that's most of what I can say about this lens. The bokeh it produces is amazing. I will share pictures of what I've done so far. The bokeh is amazing. It has 11 blades, so it has very nice and round bokeh. It has 10 glass elements inside. That's why this lens is so heavy. And the optical stabilization is advertised at 4 stops of OS, so I'm not going to complain about that. It is dust proof and splash proof, whatever that means. I don't shoot in the desert, I don't shoot in the water. I'm definitely not going to take this in the water, but I feel like this lens is going to hold its own against whatever I throw at it. But if I would recommend a different lens, a 70 to 200, I might go for the Tamron 70 to 200 G2 VC lens. But well, I'm not sure right now because this is what I have and this is what I'll work with. I have the Tamron 24 to 70 VC G2 and I love it so much. I mean, comparing the VC to this OS, I would say for me the VC is better. The VC is definitely better for me than the OS. But I don't know what the Sigma's 2470 OS art lens, EF lens is gonna be like. I don't know what the OS is gonna be like. So but I made my inquiries and I was told that the Tamron 2470 is better than the Sigma 2470 in the optical stabilization. So this is where I'm going to end the video today, guys. I hope you like my Sony A7 III rig. This is my Sony A7 III rig with the Sigma 70 to 200 millimeter 2.8 DG OS HSM sport lens, a very heavy lens. This is my camera, this is my lens, this is my rod mount, this is the cage, the small rig cage, and I have the Peak Design camera strap on it, and it's beautiful. I love it this way. I use this for shooting videos, I use this for taking pictures, and it's always just like this. In the next video, I'm going to show you guys my cinema camera and my other lens, my Tamron 2470 lens. Right now I'm shooting with that cinema camera, so just watch out, stay tuned. See you guys. Peace out.